Yes, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
But this year,
no fires.
It's just been really, really. It's been strange.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Cue the Stranger
The
Things.
Demogorgon
music,
is coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I don't watch Stranger Things.
What?
But Sammy does. I know. Let's get into a market update.
But before we do, I know you guys are really excited, but call, text us, email us, like, subscribe, comment, notifications, turn them on.
You guys have lots of homework.
Like, are you writing this down? All the things. You don't want to forget.
Yes.
You don't want to miss out on any of our content. So as always, hang out with us.
Yes.
Every week. Here we are.
Every week when we chit chat about anything about North Idaho, the real estate market.
Fireside chat.
Exactly. A little fireside chat. So this week, one of our goals has been to provide a video one a month on a market update. We find that our viewers tend to like to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wish I had something more exciting. Like, oh, it's changed, it's crazy, or
flipped
like
upside down.
Yes, or something. And it's really quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a strange summer. And I would say, I think probably end of June. July was really quiet.
Yeah.
And it continued into August. And I think the only thing I could say that's just been like, whoa, is maybe in the last week we've seen kind of an uptick in activity.
Yeah.
We've had some listings that have been really quiet.
Couple bites now.
Yeah. That all of a sudden we're seeing activity on. We're seeing some offers on.
Yeah, I think people are kind of like finally like peeking out from behind the curtain again.
Yes.
They're like, hey, what's actually going back on? Because we know everyone was almost waiting to kind of see how the market was going to change further, because it did so quickly.
Yes.
Understandably so. Most of our buyers were kind of hesitant. They wanted to take a pause, take a step back. Again, for good reason. That market rates. Switch was pretty crazy. The interest rates are up, but that means prices are coming down a little bit more. So I think that we're kind of seeing our buyers now like dip their toes back in, and they're just kind of seeing that nothing really crazy has changed over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit more confident to step back out into the buying market and see what there is out here.
Yes. And I think that also right now, it's kind of a tenuous time to be a seller or to list your house, because we've been talking for the last 2 years about how crazy the market is, multiple offers, bidding wars, price escalations, buyers waiving all their contingencies. And within a matter of months, all of that completely has changed.
Yep.
And I would say right now, barring the interest rate scenario, which we'll get into in a second, barring the interest rate scenario, there probably has never been a better time in the last 2 years to be a buyer.
Absolutely.
There's options. You're not waiving your inspection and appraisal contingencies.
And, sellers have been so conditioned that things are going to sell almost instantly that now they are much more conducive to like negotiate and have these conversations and not be so like strong and in their
it's
like
a seller's market.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
So it's definitely, you have a little bit, we said this a couple weeks ago, buyers are getting their power back, and it's kind of even more so that snowball effect is just continue to gain momentum as a buyer.
Yeah. And the other thing I feel like we've been seeing, like Sammy said, everyone pause because there's all this inflation news out there, and what's happening in Ukraine and Taiwan, and Then also the gas prices and interest rates really put a halt to things. But it's like people have decided, okay, we just have to go on with life.
Right.
We can't keep waiting, we've got to move, we've got to get into this house, our house is under contract, we've got to find a replacement.
Yep.
Life goes on, and so we're seeing people kind of, like she said, peek out from behind that curtain or over the fence, and they're like, okay, I guess it's not total annihilation or apocalypse over there, so I guess I'll jump in.
Right.
But I think one thing that's been amazing, and I guess you can credit this to the ingenuity of entrepreneurs and the industries to tackle, to be very flexible in tackling things that come up, is many lenders, almost all the lenders, now have products in their toolbox to help alleviate the pressure that the interest rate increases have seen. So, Willamette Valley Bank, I think, was kind of one of the first ones here in our community. They have a 2-1 buy down program where you, if you can obtain a credit from the seller, or if you have some extra cash, you can put towards this buy down program where for the first year, you are 2% below the stated interest rate that you lock in. So say it's 5.5%. So for year one, from your close date for the next 12 months, for year one, you're paying 3.5% interest rate on your principal. For year two, it's 1% below the stated rate that you close on. So it would be 4.5%. And on year three, you bump up to the regular rate. But the caveat to that is, by then, we're hoping that we see interest rates kind of stabilize, level out. 3 years from now, a lot happens in 3 years. Maybe we're back down to a 4% interest rate, and you can refinance and lock in that lower rate. But really, for the first 2 years, you've offset that rate 2%, 1%, and then you refinance and get back down to something a bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
And so the other thing that we're seeing too is sellers contributing, making concessions or giving credits to buyers to buy down their rates. And again, that's, prepaid interest, pay to buy down points in your rate, so that, you offset some of these increases in the rates and make your monthly payments more affordable. So I think that the advent of some of these products has been instrumental.
Oh, absolutely.
In getting buyers off the fence and back into the market.
That's kind of everyone's big pause was interest rates, because essentially that just affects your monthly payment. And so,
significantly.
The banks and the lenders can kind of find a way to work
to
with
mitigate
you and to mitigate that and kind of bridge that gap a little bit.
Yes.
It really kind of opens up that buyer pool again that we were seeing that halt in.
Yes. And, I say this all the time. It's great to be a seller in this market, but every seller is also a buyer. And so for sellers too, it's like, oh shoot, I want to put my home on the market and I want to take advantage of these historically great home values. But how can I help a buyer get into my house? But also, what are the tools available to me on the flip side of things? And so all of that, ultimately helps grease the wheel and gets people off the fence. But that's what we're definitely seeing right now. I think that's the biggest thing we have to report in this market. Again, we're seeing a lot of price reductions. I don't want to call it depreciation. It's just a leveling off of appreciation. Right. Because even though, like we've talked about in previous videos, we hit the ceiling here in April of 2022. We've been coming down about 2% a month. We're still up 15 to 20% in certain areas year over year.
Which is insane. Because your normal appreciation is 3 to 5%.
Exactly.
So,
let's just remind everyone that healthy normal appreciation is 3 to 5%. So even though we're seeing a cooling down in prices here in 2022, and interest rates have definitely been the biggest driver in that, probably rightfully so.
Right.
What we're still seeing is massive value appreciation for property owners here in North Idaho, and this is very indicative of the Pacific Northwest. Nationally, we're definitely seeing National Association of Realtors, CoreLogic, what they're seeing is a lot of cancellations or terminated contracts. So a lot of homes coming back on market, more so than any other month in the past 10 years. The price appreciation cooling that we saw in July was actually the biggest loss month to month that we've seen since 2011.
Yeah.
So we're going back to like the end of the Great Recession in terms of the cooling down effect. Again, I'm just going to say I'm not fear-mongering, but I'm going to clarify this is just month to month cooling down, not year to year. So we're not seeing depreciation. We're not seeing a market crash. We just do not have the inventory issues or the lack of demand. It's a pause right now, and that's caused the necessary cooling down. Is it contracting really quickly? Yes. But is this necessary? Yes, it absolutely is. So just know here in North Idaho, we are similar to many areas of the country. I think the Pacific Northwest kind of leads on this. Other areas like California and Florida are still seeing a lot of activity. But here in North Idaho, we're starting to see things kind of acclimate and retool and rebalance. The pendulum's swinging a little bit. And we want this because this is healthy and it's sustainable.
Right.
Maybe it's not as like roller coastery fun, but it is definitely much better for our local economy, our local workers, better for affordability, all across the board.
Across the board.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. So that is our market update. We're hoping to see kind of things pick back up into our normal fall market a little bit. I think we're still going to see a little bit of a downtick in traditional activity. But from what we've been seeing the last couple of months, I think we're going to see a little bit of a pickup.
Yeah.
So that's great news for buyers and sellers. If you have any questions about the market, if you want to pick our brain about what's going on up here, or you want to talk shop about real estate, this is what we do every day, all day.
You want to geek out? Let's do it.
Yes. So don't hesitate to call, email, text us. Put your comments and opinions down below in the comment section. We'd be happy to interact with you guys there. And we hope that you found this information valuable.
Yeah.
And maybe next market update might be a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So
in a good way.
Yes.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. All good things. But we'll see. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.